Hi, Shane. This is April. I decided to do a video for the newsletter just so I'm not typing out all of the feedback. And I did get your message. I'm sorry if this was confusing in the demo. I'm hoping that this clarifies some of your questions or issues that you had. But hopefully you can take this information going forward, revise your page 1 and 2 if need be, and then go forward with the next 2 pages. So as I'm looking at this, I just opened this up. I had to link my fonts to your fonts. Everything looks good. You pasted in, or I'm sorry, you linked your copy box to this copy box. Great job doing that. Let me take a look at your parent pages. Yep, you did that great. Good job. Okay, let's go look at the front covers or the first page here. Looks great. I love how you integrated your picture here. You could go ahead and just get rid of that stroke if you want. That kind of makes it look a little cleaner. I don't know if you could see that. Let's hide guides right now and I can show you. So it kind of gives it a nice clean look there. You could probably bring down your newsletter copy just a little bit, just so it's a little centered in there. And I probably would change let's go to properties here. Your effects for that drop shadow, I would probably just dial it down a little bit so it's not so spread out. It's just a little easier to read when you do that. And maybe make it just a little lighter. Something like that would be good. Just because it just makes it a little harder to read when you have a certain color with that. Say that blue color. And it just looks a little easier to read now. Okay. The next thing, maybe making these a little thinner too, because these are design elements. They shouldn't be the main focus. And when you make these a little thinner, they kind of look more sophisticated. So, it makes your work look a little sophisticated. So I probably would try making this 0.5. And now it focuses more on your, the focus is more on your other information in here rather than these big thick lines. It just makes it look more professional. I also would pull this in just a little bit, have that same space you have here within here. You can even move your headline down just a tad so it's closer to your intro copy. Pull this down, kind of section it off a little bit. And then maybe even pulling this up just a little further away. There we go. That's not too bad. So you can tell that this copy is being treated a little differently than the below copy, but it's all reading together. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at your style sheets here. Okay, so you have a subhead. I would hit none for that, just so that you're not, accidentally changing your subhead and then it's making something change here. Body copy is good. So you have, let's see, 10 point by 14 Baskerville. That's perfect. And same for your body copy here. Go ahead and this is a little different. You're going to have to select just your body copy and hit none here. And you have something else that you changed from up here to down here. And it looks like you have Baskerville Old Face set for this body copy, and then you have Bodini set for this copy. So I would pick one or the other. So let's say you want to choose, let's do Baskerville. So when you click on your body copy, go ahead and just hit let's see here, what is it? Hit your option and click right on it, and it's going to change your body copy when you select it. So see that little plus sign on the body copy? You're just going to click right on it with the option key selected so that you're taking care of any you're gonna switch it from that one typeface that you changed it accidentally to the same typeface, and that's kind of why that plus sign is there. It's saying, hey, you changed something in here, but then you saved it and it's not quite the same. So go ahead and option, make sure you're hitting none again. Option click, none. I forgot to do that up here. So only your body copy. This is kind of a little bit of a job here because it was accidentally not done correctly with the two. You had two different body copies there. Text box or text chosen, I should say. So just make sure it's all none, everything's good. You don't have any plus signs going on. That looks good. And then your subheads, it looks like you're going to want to hit the basic paragraph. Let's go ahead and just option click that too, because we don't want that plus sign to show. And now it looks like it set it back to black. So now once we do that basic paragraph, we want to go to character styles and go ahead and set your color. So something funky was going on there. We're gonna have to do that to all of these. So go ahead and option click basic paragraph for each one of these. And then subhead is good. And then just put a space in between there. A little space in between here. Oh yeah. Go ahead and delete those spaces here. You don't need to do that. So go ahead and take your cursor, delete those spaces. I'm going to show you something and hit return when you're done. And I'll show you the way that it should be done. See if there's any spaces in there. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's just make sure all these subheads are correct. Oops. I have to delete the space in there. Again, just highlight that, hit basic paragraph, subhead. And then you're going to have to put a return after and then delete that return after the subhead. A little bit of work. So highlight, basic paragraph, option click, put your cursor in the paragraph before it, hit return, put your cursor at the first word of the paragraph, hit delete, and then hit return. Okay. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either indent your body copy to know that you're on the next paragraph, or you can put spaces in between. So for instance, like say if there was a space here, there we go. We can have a space after the paragraph, or we could put indents. So let's go ahead and put indents in your body copy. Make sure this is all set right. Oh, this is setting it. Okay. There's something going on here. You must have a space after. Let me double click this. And indents and spacing, space before. Okay. We want to take that to 0. That's what's going on there. So go into your body copy, double click on it, indents and spacing, and take that space before out. What we want to do is we want to put a indent in there and don't go anywhere above 0.125. So the first line indent is what we want. Click OK. And then you'll see all those spaces go away, and anything that is, and we might have to go back and choose body copy again because some of these didn't quite change for some reason. I think once I hit that delete, it changes it back. So just make sure all of this copy is set good for body copy and you have that indent showing. Okay, everything looks good there. This needs to be changed. And you can see that indent being created. Okay. All right. A little weirdness there, but we're good. If you want to, like for this intro copy, if you want this to look different, you can set this as a totally different paragraph style. So let's go ahead and do a new paragraph style. Double click on it and write intro copy. And what we can do here is we can, maybe make it bold or something if that's available. We have bold, doesn't show bold. Let's do, I don't have bold. Let's do a couple point sizes bigger. So 12 point by 16 point leading. That way it's a little, a little different. And, it's not the same as this copy, just kind of as the intro copy, your eye goes there first. And you kind of did that with a different font, but it was similar to this font in the body copy. So it was a little confusing. All right, so I made this a little bigger, although now it's breaking in a weird way. Let's go ahead and I'm going to shift return this up to the next line. We're going to try to get this so it's breaks a little bit better here without all the hyphens. That looks good. I'm gonna pull this up closer to there we go, perfect. So I just made this its own intro copy paragraphs down and made it a couple point sizes larger. And then I pulled this down a little bit. We do have a lot of room on the next page, so we can even pull this down further if we want. And this down further because we want this to break in a better way here. Okay. Delete that space out right there. There's a weird space happening there. Let's move that down. There we go. So you can probably pull this down just a little bit further. Shift select. Probably like right here looks good. Okay. And then we'll fix any weird things going on here. Like, for instance, this widow down here can be fixed. And then at this point, you could pull this down a little further and you could probably mess with this line a little bit too, if you wanted to. So you take your direct selection tool and bring this down just a little bit. There we go, since we have more room. You could too click on this background image, just click on the whole image itself. Take your eyedropper tool and just select the corner of this. And you could fill this instead of with orange, you could fill it with a color closer to what this background color is. Now it's going to look a little different on this side, but at least you're getting closer to that if that's kind of something that you want. Pull this down a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so that would be your front page. Now you're going to have to leave some room here for your contents, table contents. And if you listen to my lecture on Monday, I kind of explained how this is kind of a real world problem experience, because sometimes clients come to you and say, can you put this thing in here extra, and you already had everything lined up and everything's good, and now you have to move stuff. So this is kind of how it is in the real world, and you're getting that experience. So what I would do is go to text frame options for this particular body copy. And I would set it to two columns, and then push this over to the right a little bit. Now your table contents isn't really a lot to put in there. So just this space is perfect because you only have a four-page newsletter, so it doesn't have to be that big. But if you need to, go ahead and listen to my lecture if you haven't already, and see kind of how I put the table contents in here. But this would be the space I would reserve for that. So you're gonna, set this to two columns. You could pull this over, and this would be your table contents. Now that's gonna push everything over here, which is fine. We just need to realign it. So I would just pull this up to your guides. Let's see how much. Oh yeah, we have enough room. You can pull this down. And I would even pull this down so you have a little bit more space, kind of even it out at the top and the bottom here. Maybe one more line up. Pull this down at the bottom. That looks good. And then at that point, you can even center these if you want more so in this blue bar. Just grab the blue bar by accident. Hold on. I was gonna say, why can't I touch that? Do you have something locked in here? Let's see. No. It looks like maybe you pasted this image in this box. So I can't move it. But feel free to do a separate image box for that so that you can move those a little freely. I'm just going to pull this down so it's a little bit more equal on the top as well as the bottom. That might actually be all you need to do. If you ever wanted to change, say like your subhead colors, just go ahead and double click on it. Say you wanted to do like a darker blue that better matches your color here. You could do that. See how that kind of unifies now with your other elements. So this looks good. You have you have everything in place. You just have to redo your paragraph and character styles is really the only challenge that you have besides pulling your information here to the side so that you could have your table of contents area there. All right, hopefully this will not be as confusing and that you can go in here and make these changes and then go forward with your 2 and page 3 and 4. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.